Hey everyone, this is Sandip back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the easy sorting algorithms for interviews. So there are some easy sorting algorithms, and it's a good idea to start with the easier one first. And then there are some intermediate level or the complex one, which also I'm going to bring it to you in future. So today I'm going to talk about bubble sort, but this is more of did you know or kind of a tip I want to give you. So if you can write the algorithm, so we're going to talk about sorting algorithm, right? So this algorithm word, sometimes it creates a lot of panic in the developers, and they're afraid maybe, okay, I'm going to write an algorithm that would be really difficult, but don't worry, that's why I have written this step here. So if you can write the algorithm in plain English, it becomes really easy to write them in any programming language. So I'm going to tell you very good technique, very good problem solving technique. So we're going to write the algorithm first in English, plain English, in simple language, and step by step we are going to follow those that plain English, plain English written language, and we are going to write our code. And I bet I can tell you that will make things really easy to understand and really easy to write the to execute the function or to write the algorithm actually. So let's move on. I'm going to talk about bubble sort today, and bubble sort is one of the easiest sorting algorithm out there. I mean, in the community. And so why I'm covering bubble sort. I know it's easy, and a lot of people say it's easy, but I have gone through it, and sometimes I found like many developers, they still find it difficult to write. So that's why I have broken it down into really small steps so that we can write it down pretty well, pretty easily. Okay, so what is bubble sort basically? So first of all, we need to understand sort. What is sorting, right? So say suppose I have this array, right? Take the example of this array 7, 5, 4, 1, 2, and we need to bring this array. We need to sort this array. So what is basically from in ascending order. So basically the smallest number will come first, and it incrementally it goes towards the largest number, right? So if we want to sort this array, right, so I need to have a 7 at this place, right? So this sorted array will look like 1 2 4 5 7, something like that. So bubble sort is one of the algorithm, in which we can use to sort any array. So in this sorting algorithm, what we do basically, we first take we repeat this step, where we take the largest value. I mean, you need to find out the largest value, or take you start from the beginning actually, and you take the largest value and you push that value, or you move that particular value at the end of the array. That's what you need to do it. So let's take this example, right? So this is an array, right? So I'll start with 7. I'll start with the first item in the array. I'll compare it with the next item. So I'll compare 7 with 5. Okay, 7 is greater than 5. So I'm going to swap those elements. So 7 will move in place of 5, and 5 will come to the place of 7. So this is how it is swapped. Now next I'll compare. So incrementally we'll compare items. Okay, next I'll compare 7 with 4. Okay, now again 7 is greater than 4. So again we will swap. So 7 will come here, 4 will go here. Then I'll compare 7 with the next item, that is 1. And I clearly see, right, 7 again is greater than 1. So I'm going to swap them. Now next finally I'm going to compare 7 with 2. So 7 is greater than 2. So 7 found his place. So in the first pass, you see here, right, the first pass or the first step which I did, right, I put 7 at the end, and 7 is the largest element in this array. And we follow all of these steps repeatedly just to sort our array. So do this in the loop for all the items, and the bubble sort. That's what I meant here, but it won't be that much easy actually. So let's move on. So bubble sort, breaking it down. So I have written a pseudo code. Now I have found this really different pseudo. I mean, there are a lot of pseudo codes out there in on websites or on YouTube also, but I've written it down in very detail actually, step by step, so that anyone in the world can follow it really simply. And I have broken down bubble sort into, so take this example, maybe you want to solve a bigger problem. It's a good idea to break down that problem into smaller problems first, right? And solve the small problem first. And once you solve all the small problems, the bigger problem will be solved automatically. That's the strategy which I'm trying to follow here. I have I have a video for this, how to solve coding problems. Maybe you can watch that video, search on Code with Sandip channel, and you can find that video. So moving on. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to copy this entire bubble sort code, this pseudo code actually, and I'm going to paste it. So I already did that. We'll go through it one by one, step by step, and we are going to solve the bubble sort. And I bet you are going to understand it pretty easily. Okay. So I need to switch my tab basically. So I've already copied this English, plain English algorithm here, So you can see all the steps are copied here. And next, and we are going to solve it step by step. Okay. So the first thing in bubble sort that you need to understand, right? So step one is move the first item. Let's go with the first item only. So move the first item to the end by comparing if it's larger than all the other items. Now this is the step one we are going to follow, but that step one has sub steps also that we are going to follow. So let's do this. Let's go step by step, and you'll see that how easily you can solve. You can actually write the bubble sort or solve any problem. So I'm going to write a function here called bubble sort. So this is my bubble sort, and it's going to take array as an input. So I'm going to pass an array. We'll take the example also. So let me call this function straight away, right? So bubble sort, and let's take the example array we have. So I'll go back to my slides. What is the array? We have 75412. 75412. Okay. So I'll take 7, 5, 4, 1, and 2. Let's sort this simple array only. We'll try with other examples also. So this array I'm passing, right? And we are going to console.log, whatever the result. Or maybe I'll just create a variable first. Const, this will be the test maybe. And we are going to console.log the test. Console.log test, something like this. Okay, so now I'm calling this function bubble sort. I'm passing this array. Now let's solve this problem, step by step. So first step is move the first item. So you need to understand how to move any particular item. We're taking the example of first item here. So we'll pick the first item and we'll learn how we can move first item of the array to the end of the array. That's the first step, small step which exists in the bubble sort. And I have written down the sub steps also. So we are going to loop through an array first. Okay, so you should know how to loop through an array. So we are going to use J for this. So the first thing, I'm going to use J as index. I can use I also. Most of the time you have seen I, but I we are going to use in the later step. That's why, I'm using J. So you know how to write for loop, right? So just write a for loop, and you can take help of sources tab and snippet, and Google Chrome has made it really easy. I'm going to change it to J. Okay, so the first sub step is loop through an array using J. So I'm taking this array, right? And I'm looping through it. So if I want to loop through this array, I need to write something like this array.length. So I need to start with the 0. Then the length of this array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I need to loop from 0 to 4 actually. The length is 5, so I need to loop till -1. So that's what I have written here. Maybe we can make it bit smaller like this. Okay, and I'm just going to console.log all the elements I'm looping through the array. Really simple, right? The first step or the first sub step. Now we are going to test our program, right? It's a good idea to test your program as you keep on writing. So I'm going to see I is not defined. Oh, I'm using J actually, right? So I need to replace it with J. Now if I run this, see that we are getting our array, right? 7541. We are not getting 2, right? So we need to run till the length actually. Okay, so now I'm going to clear, and we are getting all the elements, right? So we are getting 75412, all the elements. So we are done with the first small step of moving the first item to the end by comparing if it's larger than all other items, right? So we have looped through the array using J as our counter, right? Now we'll compare if the current item is greater than the next item. So we're going to compare whether 7 is greater than 5. That's the next step, right? That's, see, the goal here is the goal of this step is we need to move this 7 at the end. But we are going to move this 7 at the end only if it is greater than the next item. That's the catch here, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to pick the first item. So I'm going to take array, and how can we take the first item? Using J, right? And I'm going to compare it with array J plus 1. So I'm going to take array J. So I'm taking 7. I'm comparing it with J plus 1 means 5. I'm checking whether 7 is greater than 5. If it is greater than 5, right? Now we are comparing. If the current index item is greater than the next index item, that comparison is done. So now if it is greater, right, we are going to swap the items. Now this is also one of the bigger step that you should know how to do it, right? So I'll give you the example, right? Swap the items. How to swap the items? So take the example here. I'll be making really simple example. So I'm creating a variable called, say, a equals to 5. Then let's say b is equals to 10. And maybe I want to swap a with b, right? So now I'm going to console.log first. Console.log a comma b. I'm going to save. And let's comment this part for now. I don't want to show that sorting thing for now. I'm going to clear. You see, I got 5 and 10. Now, say suppose I want to move 10 into A and 5 into B. So maybe I'll try something like this, A equals to B, right? And if I run this now, you see that the 5 has been replaced by 10. So I can't do the swapping something like this. So to do the swapping, what I need to do basically, I need to create another variable here called a temp variable. So I'm going to have a temp variable, and inside that temp, first I'm going to keep the value of A. Then I'll say A is equals to B. So I've already have a value of A. Now that is 5 inside temp, right? And now I said A equals to B. So I moved 10 into A now. And next, now I'm going to say B is equals to 10. So that way I can get the swapping done. Now if I see, you see that. Initially it is, maybe I'll do something like this. Maybe I'll copy and paste this one here. So first we had 5, 10. We swapped it by 10, 5. So the same thing we are going to do here. The swapping is really easy actually, but I wanted to explain it to you because, some people, they are really beginners and they even don't understand how to swap things. So we need to swap array of j with the array of j plus 1. So first of all, same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new variable called temp, and I'm going to put array of j inside that. Pretty simple, right? And now I'm going to take array of j, and I'm going to put array of j plus 1 into it. Okay, and now I'll target array of j plus 1, and I have array of j, right? I'm going to put temp into it. So this is the swapping. Simple, really simple. So that's the rule we are going to follow, right? So step 1 is actually we want to move the first item to the end of the array, but doing the comparison if it is greater than or larger than the next item. So how this first step of bubble sort is going to work, that's what we are going to see, or I'm going to run through. Okay, first of all, let's see whether 7 has been moved at the end of the array or not by writing this simple step or simple algorithm. This is a small algorithm of a bubble sort, small part of a bubble sort where we are just moving this first element at the end of the array. And let's see whether we have achieved that step or not. So I'm going to clear this. And we need to return the array actually because we are changing the array here. So let's return the sorted array. It's not sorted yet, but we need to return the array also. And we are doing the console.log, right? So I'm going to save, run. See that we got the 7 at the end of the array. So we have achieved the first step. But what is happening, behind the scene? I want to explain that to you. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. So we have this array, right? So what is happening? Let's run through this algorithm or steps. So we have this array, right? So this array is coming here, right? I'm running a loop. I'm starting with a 0. So first of all, I have j is equals to 0, right? I'm comparing if j is less than array.length. What is the length? So 0 is less than 5. Okay. So we'll move inside the loop. We are comparing array of j. Now what is the value of array of j? That is 7. Whether 7 is greater than 5. Array of j plus 1 is 5. This is array of j. This is array of j plus 1. 0, 0 plus 1. I'm comparing it with 5. I'm getting it true, right? So what we are doing, we are swapping. So what is happening? We are swapping 7 with 5. So now what will happen, we'll take this array and I'll paste it here. So the 5 is coming here and 7 is coming here. Really simple, right? Again, the loop is going to continue because the value of j is 0, right? This loop will continue until the value of j is less than array of length, that is 5, until the value of j is less than 5. Okay. So again, we'll take the next step. Now the j's value will become 1 because we have incremented it j plus plus. Now this time we will compare again array of j with array of j plus 1, but the array of j value is 1. So we'll compare this one 7. We'll compare 7 with j plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 4, right? So we are doing the comparison of this whether 7 is greater than 4. And obviously 7 is greater than 4. So again we are going to swap, right? So the 4 will come here and 7 will go here, right? Let's take this again. Now the j will become 2, right? And 2 is less than 5. So now this time we will compare 2. So 0, 1, 2, 7 with 1. 7 is greater than 1. Swap. We need to swap again. 7, right? Next, again, we are going to move forward. And this time we are going to do j is equals to 3. So now 0, 1, 2, 3. So j of array of 3, that is 7. 7 is greater than 2. Yes, 7 is greater than 2. J plus 1, right? So array of I is 7. So array of j, array of 3 is 7. Array of 3 plus 1, that is 2. So we are comparing 7 is greater than 2. Yes, again we need to swap. So we swapped 2 with 7. Simple, right? So we have things sorted. Again, what will happen, again the j is going to get incremented. Now j is going to become 4. Now 4 is less than 5. So this array is again going to run. So we just need to run this array till the length -1. We don't need this j equals to 4 actually. So while writing the steps, we are going to learn and we are going to modify our code also, right? So I need to run the code till like 1, 2, 3, 4 times only, because I need to do the 4 comparison only, right? I don't need to do 5 comparison. First comparison, second comparison, third, and the fourth comparison only. So we are going to do just array.length -1 comparison here. Let's see now, because we have moved the 7, right? And these are the steps. That's where I have already run the program basically. So I'm going to run it again and I'll show you, right? This is what is happening behind the scene. These steps are getting executed and you're getting 7 pushed to the end of the array. So we are 50%, we are partially done with our bubble sort. Let's move on, and now we need to do the same thing repeatedly, right? So if I come back here, you see the step 2. Repeat the above steps. Means taking the first element, moving it at the end. Taking the first element, moving it at the end. So we got it, right? We got our 7 here, right? Now we have to pick 5. And we need to do the same thing, same comparison, same swapping. And we need to move 5 at the end of the array. So this thing only we need to repeat. Okay, so how we are going to repeat it, right? So repeat above step for all the remaining items in the array. So we are going to, so if you want to repeat something, right, the hint is you need to create another loop, right? So I'm saying here, like create an outer loop using I. See how easily you can solve the problem. So I'm going to create another loop and I'll take this and put it here. So we're going to have another loop that is outer loop, because we need to execute these steps again for other items, right? So that's why think like this is task 1 and I want to repeat that task for all the elements. So how many elements we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements we have. So maybe hypothetically you're going to repeat it for 5 number of times, right? So here I'm going to take let I is equals to 0. Okay. Again, I'll go with a very simple way. I'm going to go with the length, and let's go with the length minus 1 actually, and I plus plus. And we are not following all these steps, I'll tell you. So let's run this program and you'll get the sorted array. I can tell you that it's really easy. It will sort the array straight away because we have ran the outer loop and we are repeating all this task for all the elements for that particular number of times, right? So let's clear this and let's run it and see that. Awesome. You got the sorted array 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. Is it sorted, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. I don't need to do anything, right? If you know how to move, I mean, partially 50% of the part, only the step 1. You did only step 1, move the first item. So if you know how to move the first item of the array at the end, you just need to run an outer loop on it, and you're going to get the sorted array, and you got the sorted array here, right? But there is a problem with this approach. This is not the efficient way. Why? I can tell you, right? Here what is happening, I can tell you, in the first pass, this is the first pass. Okay, I'm going to call this first pass. Okay, now let's run the second pass where this is the input, right? So we are actually running the loop, right? So we are running the outer loop for 0 and array dot less than array dot length minus 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3 until 4, right? 5 times. So length is 5 and 5 minus 1, 4 times. So basically we are running the loop 4 times, right? So this is the first pass. Now we have this array. So this is the first pass when I is equals to 0. That's why, this j part ran, because when I equals to 0, we are going to run for all the j value till array dot length minus 1. Now we'll run it for I equals to, so let's have something like this, I is equals to 1. Okay, and this is our second pass. Okay, so now this will be the input for the second pass, right? Because we have this sorted array. Now what will happen again, I'm going to do this, repeat the same steps, right? So I'm going to compare. So we are again going to pick j. So I'll copy this part here from here and I'll paste it here. Okay, so now the j is obviously reset to 0. Now we will compare 5. So 0, that is 5. So array of j is 0. Array of 0 is 5. And we will compare array of j means 0 plus 1, that is 4. It's really easy actually, but I'm trying to explain it. 5 is greater than 4. So 5 is greater than 4. So again we will swap. Okay, take this array actually. I need to take this one here. So we need to swap, right? So 5 will move here and 4 will come here. Okay. So this is the first pass. In the second pass, inside j, this was the first pass. Now j will become 1. Now we'll compare j. Now j is 1, right? So array of 1 is 5 and array of 1 plus 1, array of 1 plus 1 is 2. So array of 2 is 1. So we're going to compare 5 with 1. Whether 5 is greater than 1? Yes, 5 is greater than 1. So again we are going to swap, right? So the 1 will come here and 5 will go here. Let's do the next pass of j. Now this time j will become 2. And now we will compare 5 with 2, right? 5 is greater than 2. And yes, 5 is greater than 2. Again, we need to swap. So 2 will come here and 5 will come here. Now the j is going to repeat again for 3, right? Because j loop is going to run 3 times because the length is 5, right? So j is equals to 3. And now we are comparing 5 with 7. And that comparison is actually not needed. Look at it. We already have a sorted atom at the end of the array. We have already sorted 7, right? We have moved 7 was the first item. And we have already moved 7 because 7 was the largest. We have already moved 7 at the end of the array. So why to do the comparison? Because we know the right hand side part of a in case of bubble sort, the right hand side part will always be sorted. So there is no need of doing the comparison between 5 and 7. I mean, this pass is not needed. I'll just write it down. So every time, so next time, say suppose we are going to have a third pass. Okay, I'll just show you. Then only you will be able to understand. Let's have a I equals to 2. That is a third pass, right? I'm not going to write it down completely, right? So there we will start with this array, right? I'll go through it quickly actually. So we'll do like 4 is greater than 1. We'll compare 4 is greater than 1. Yes, 4 is greater than 1 and I need to take this array actually. So we'll swap it, right? 1 will come here, 4 will come here. Next again we'll take id that value of, again I'll just copy this one from here. And j will become 1, right? Now this time we'll compare 4 with 2, right? So obviously 4 is again greater than 2. So 2 and 4 will be swapped. Now I don't need to swap 4 and 5 because 5 is already sorted, right? I moved the 5 on the right hand side. So these steps, these are not needed. This step actually, after this step, we don't need to do any comparison of, so I'll copy this one from here till here. So j will be 2. We are doing the comparison of 4 and 5 and that is actually not needed. So again, I'm going to copy this from here till here, not needed. So every time, with every pass, we just need to run the outer loop, till length minus 1. That's why, so you're getting the hint here, right? Repeat step 1, but each pass should run only till last sorted item minus 1. So this means the outer loop I will start at array length minus 1 and run till 0. So see, that's the change we need to do. We need to run the outer loop till array length minus 1. So obviously I need to change this to greater than 0. Okay. And here instead of I plus plus we'll be doing I minus minus. That's it. And this is going to make your okay, I think I need to do the one use outer loop I value as a length for the inner loop, right? Because this is really important. So we need to use I here. Use outer loop I value as a length. So we need to always do the comparison. So we'll start. So first time, we have 5 elements. So first time we need to run the loop only 4 times. Next time we need to run the loop only 3 times. Next time 2 times and next once. So that value is actually coming from I. That's what I'm doing here. So you need to write it down by yourself. That is another way, to understand how to solve particular problem. But I tried my best, by writing it down in a small, simple steps, English steps that you can follow and crack this algorithm, right? The bubble sort by yourself actually. So you just don't go ahead and copy and paste this code or follow this code. I'll suggest you just follow this English code, plain English code, and try to write it by yourself. And let me give the feedback in the comments if whatever I have written here is easy to understand or not. That will help, for me to come up with simpler English language, I would say. Okay. So now I'm going to get the same output. Nothing is going to change. I just made it more efficient actually. So if I run it, you see the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. We are getting the sorted array. How many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. So you can see how it is working, right? The bubble sort. And we have solved bubble sort by ourselves just following these simple steps. Now let's move on. I'll switch my tab. Let's move on. So this is the solution. And let's talk about a little bit about the big O. We have to talk about big O for any particular algorithm. So this the big O of bubble sort is basically n square in the worst complexity. In case of average complexity, it is again an n square, and best complexity will be n. If the array is already sorted, right, in that case there is a possibility that it will run. Why it is n square, you must be thinking, because we have 2 loops, right? The outer loop and inner loop. So whenever we have 2 loops in any algorithm, the big O will, mostly the big O will be n square, and the best will be n if the inner loop is running only once. Maybe if that's the case, that is possible only case of maybe the sorted array, right? And the space complexity is really easy, it would be 1 because you're not using a lot of space. So this is big O, and this is a code actually I have written here. So this presentation you can find on Instagram, so I'll show you. So you just need to search for Instagram and maybe username, right? So I'll put the username here. Oh man, code with Sandeep. The link is in the description actually. So if you hit this URL, you're going to find. So I did this, so you can just go here and you can just do the revisions. I'm creating all these notes, to help you learn on the go. So maybe you're traveling, right? Or maybe you're preparing for the interview and going for the interview. You can just skim through all these slides, these pages, these images, and you can just revise the content by yourself. That's why, I'm trying to put a lot of effort, creating all this content. So if you like it, probably you can share it with your friends and family, and that will help me grow my content or grow my channel also. So I think I tried my best. I know this is a long video, and there are a lot of shorter videos available on YouTube where they have written the algorithm. Just they, I mean, I have seen people, they start with this part actually. I'll switch my window actually. They directly start with the outer loop, and then they run the inner loop. But I thought of taking a different approach here. Try to solve it in a dumb way, so that anyone with who is not very smart, or people or developer or coder who are afraid of algorithms or problem solving, even they should be able to solve. So just follow this English step by yourself and try to solve this, write this code by yourself, and I bet you will be able to do it. So remember the steps again. I'm going to revise quickly. You need to remember what is bubble sort. Basically, take the first element, move it at the end of the array. Take the first element, move it at the end of the array. Take the first element, move it at the end of the array. So you need to do it. You need to repeat these steps until the entire, until you have picked all the items in the array and moved it towards the end, or at least making them in a sortable manner. So with that, I'm going to stop here. This might be a long video, but I think this is going to help. So I'll see you in the next algorithm, probably next sorting algorithm video. Until then, you take care. Goodbye, and thanks for watching the video.